Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Georgiman and I'm your friendly neighborhood anime and manga fan. I love all things anime and all things manga, and I'm here today to talk about Chainsaw Man chapter 156. So, what did I think about this week's chapter? To be honest, I thought this week's chapter was fantastic, and the main reason is because it seems like finally Fujimoto's setting up the final, epic conclusion of the story, especially from this week's chapter. From what we got, it definitely was planting the seeds in what's going to seem to be the final showdown between Denji, the public safety, as well as pretty much the Nostradamus prophecy. So I'm very excited to see what's going to happen in the future going forward. Now, before I go any further with this week's chapter, I just want to give you guys a quick reminder to make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you guys can be up to date with all my anime and manga, as well as all my Chainsaw Man content that I'll be providing in this channel. It really helps out a lot, and I would really appreciate if you guys could subscribe to my YouTube channel. So if you guys could, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Now, with all that out of the way, let's get into this week's chapter. So this week's chapter starts off in the similar way where we left off last time, which is pretty much Denji at the hospital, and he wakes up, and who's there? Yoshida. And pretty much we see Yoshida give Denji the cold shoulder, and you see Denji kind of like, bro, how long was I asleep for? And we find out it has been a whole week, which is something that I myself didn't expect, to be that drastic of a time jump. I personally, from my last chapter review, I thought it was probably a day or maybe a couple of hours. No, it's a whole week. And then Denji's pissed off. I was like, why didn't you wake me up, bro? And, Yoshida's being very cold because he did warn Denji, I don't transform into Chainsaw Man. And Denji obviously broke that promise. And what we see is pretty much, Denji gets out of bed and he, falls down. And, Yoshida's like, I wouldn't suggest you getting out of bed because you have been knocked out for a week. You can't even walk right now. And Denji's like, where's Nayuta? I was like, this is no longer a talking point, bro. I thought I made it pretty crystal clear that you needed not to transform into Chainsaw Man. That was the main priority. And you broke that promise, so I can't help you going forward. And then she's like, where's Nayuta? He's just keeps asking, and we pretty much see that, eventually Yoshida just says I don't care, bro, whatever. And he subdues Denji by pretty much, I believe, injecting him and passing him out with probably anesthesia or something. He knocks Denji out. And what happens after that, we see a bunch of the public safety show up, everybody with their suits, and who's there also? Fraud Miko. The fraud herself, Fumiko, shows up again. And when I saw her, I was like, oh god, here we go again, guys. And pretty much what it comes down to, she starts asking Yoshida, hey, is it true that we're gonna dismember Denji? And he's like, yeah, well, that's what we're gonna do. It's like, oh cool, can I at least keep his toenails and stuff? And Fumiko, a freak. That girl has a couple of screws loose, which makes sense. I mean, we do know that if you're gonna join public safety, you gotta have a couple screws loose, or else you'll die. I mean, that's what Kishibe told back with Himeno and all that. And pretty much we just see Yoshida's yeah, that's gonna happen, and Fumiko's nonchalantly about it. So Fumiko, once again, the Fumiko stocks are tremendously down. They're at negative right now. Once again, Fumiko, no more. It's Fraud Miko going forward. Hashtag the fraud Fumiko, Fraud Miko. And what happens after that is pretty much we see, it seems like a dream sequence where Denji's talking to Pochita in his inner mind, and throughout it all we see that Pochita is Denji's talking to Pochita, Pochita, let me get up. Pochita's why? He's I gotta go save Nayuta, come on, help me get up. And Pochita's okay, but how you gonna get up without a leg? And then we cut to a pretty disturbing scene where we see that they're pretty much proceeding a surgery with Denji, where they're literally, as they said, they're gonna cut him into pieces to prevent him from transforming to Chainsaw Man, And that was pretty sadistic and pretty dark. But we do know that public safety, they don't have the clean gloves, they're not ashamed to get their hands dirty, and it definitely shows because the things that they're doing is pretty inhumane, to be honest, especially with somebody, a human such as Denji, even though that to them he's just a freak, but at the end of the day we know that he's a human as well. But beyond that, we pretty much see that one of the surgeons that he's talking to, one of the public safety hunters, I guess, and he's there to guard Denji. And this guy's pretty much the doctors, can you stop smoking, bro? Come on, we're in the operation room. And he's nah, bro. And he's okay, well, can you at least leave? He's nah, my duty here is to guard you guys, and if Chainsaw Man ever were to try to leave, I'm appointed to execute him on spot. So this guy's just kind of there as the muscle, I guess, of public safety. It's we're inside of this facility that's never been able to be no devil has ever been able to break out of here. It's kind of like their big like prison, like like nobody gets out. That's where they capture most. I'm assuming most devils and keep them trapped. Probably that's where they had the future devil and all that too. If I'm assuming, if that might be the same place, I'm not too sure. But we pretty much end the chapter where he's like, the only thing that could ever break anybody out from like inside of this like prison would be an actual war to break out. And as soon as he says that, who shows up, or who you see a silhouette of the back of their legs of Yoru, and that got me pretty hyped because you're like, the guy says the only thing that could ever break out, like just destroy this facility, would be war itself. And who's showing up? Yoru herself. And I thought that was awesome way to leave the chapter off. And I myself had been saying that we needed to see some Asa and Yoru, and I think that it was nice to like Fujimoto to tease us with once again Yoru, and because she's been in the back thread of a big, her like becoming Yoru, like fully like getting her powers back. That it has been a big major plot that has been on the back burner for a while, and I think that was purposely in Fujimoto's part, so to make us be like, oh, where is she up to, like what is going on, and now Fujimoto's hitting us with like, oh, she's back, and it seems that she is gonna either eliminate Chainsaw Man, try to steal her power, his power, or just cause more war and get stronger. And I'm assuming now, since it's been a whole week since the whole fiasco with the Chainsaw Man Church and all that, how powerful Yoru is right now, because it has been a week. And the fear of war has only gotten more and more and more, prevalent in the world as a whole. So I'm assuming that right now she's pretty powerful, like to say the least. I might be controversial by saying this, but I think she might be Makima territory when it comes to the four horsewomen, power-wise. I think that she might be up there with Makima, because right now the whole world is in fear. Ever since the events of not only the Chainsaw Man Church, but also the the Falling Devil, where everything was crushed, and war seems imminent, left and right, the whole hysteria across the world. And I think that Yoru right now is at her prime. This is the most, this is prime Yoru, because from what we saw last chapter, like the last chapter that she at least shows up, she easily disposed of Yoshida, and we thought that Yoshida was pretty strong. I mean, he's still a human, and we still know that he's no challenge, at least for the Makimas and the four horsewomen. So it was very so we do know that Yoru is just gonna wreck stuff right now. Like, she's gonna wreck shop the second she shows up. Now hopefully I would like if we see a little bit of what has she been up to that whole week, instead of just us going into it like, oh, she's wrecked shop and stuff like that. But I wouldn't mind it. It's just, I think that would be a little nice to see exactly what has she been doing, as well as pretty much what Asa, because I'm sure that Asa is trapped inside of Yoru now. Similar to the Hulk, Yoru is driving the car right now, and Asa is pretty much in in the trunk, tied up and stuff, and Yoru is driving the wheel. So at least that's what my assumption is. Yoru took over, and Asa's more in the back burner right now. But we might get some clarity on the next chapter. So a good thing is that we see that the next chapter will be in a week from now, so no 2-week break. So I'm very excited, because Chainsaw Man up to this point has been fantastic, at least for myself, for part 2. I know some people might think it's a little slow, but I love that, a little bit of a slow burn at the beginning, but all these payoffs, constantly happen. Now, I'm assuming that if she were to wreck shop Yoru, this, to me, would be the perfect scenario if the public safety has, their last defense there to protect, against any threat. Hear me out. This is where Ree shows up, and she's like, oh, I gotta fight. I'm the top guard in here. I'm the one I'm the reason no one has escaped, yada, yada, yada. And that's where we get the big cat fight between Yoru and Reese. I know I'm sounding like a mad lad, but listen, if this happens, if we see the two best girls meet, I'm gonna blow my mind. This is gonna be the ultimate waifu war. And yeah, I would just be excited. I just want to see my girl Reese back. I know she's coming back, hopefully. Fujimoto, I'm looking at you. If you're watching this video, bring her back already, man. But yeah, with all that being said, what did you guys think about this week's chapter? Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys thought it was alright? Whatever you guys thought, let me know in the comment section down below. Also, thank you so much for sticking all the way to the end of the video. I really appreciate it. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more Chainsaw Man, as well as more anime and manga content in the near future. But yeah, with all that being said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye bye.